Alright, guys, we're in Psalm 58 today. Um, Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh violence of the hands in the earth, of your hands in the earth. One of the things that kind of stands out right off the get-go is that it's talking about speaking righteousness, the congregation speaking righteousness, and then it says, do you judge uprightly? And I hear this all the time, judge not, and I really wish people would read the rest of that passage where Jesus is talking about that before they try and half quote um, what he's saying there. The fact of the matter is that we are told to judge. In 1 Corinthians 5, Paul tells us that we're to judge among our brethren, not for the purpose of being judgmental in the context that's become a negative thing these days, but in the sense that that Paul also goes on to say that if we would judge ourselves, we wouldn't be judged. The meaning being that we keep each other as brothers, as sisters. We keep each other on the path. We keep each other honest. We hold each other accountable. Kind of this new Western modern thing is this accountability partner thing, but it's really not that new because it's something that goes back to even the Old Testament here, and even in this passage here, he says, do you speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly? Judging is not a bad thing. Judging is something that we do to make sure that our brothers and sisters don't stray, and that I'm dependent on myself to make sure that my brothers and sisters hold me accountable and make sure that I don't stray. So I think that we get a wrong impression of what's going on when we try and look at judging through this politically correct Western mindset, which is just not biblical. Well, one of the things that we see here also is I see a lot of neutered Christianity where people just kind of have this mindset that it's all peace, love, high fives, and things like this. But the more and more that I read about kind of what's going on in our country in particular, and really just Western civilization in general, you really can't deny the hand of God being involved in this. And when you hear about things like elitists being involved in pedophilia and kids being sold for sex, and uh, just the slavery in general, just all of the things that are going on, it's really no wonder that we are being judged. And that's, I'm sure, just what we know is probably just the very tip of the iceberg. But one of the other things that I wanted to point out here is that as you get to the end of Psalm 58, he says in verse 10, the righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, verily there is a reward for the righteous. Verily he is a God that judges in the earth. One of the things that we can kind of take comfort in is the fact that God is judging. And namely, that's if God is our first and foremost priority, if he is our chief motivating factor in our life, is that God is judging. So while I'm a patriot, an American, and I'm proud of my heritage, I'm a Christian first and foremost. And when my country strays, I thank God that we have a God that will judge. Because as he says here in this passage, verily he is a God that judges in the earth. He says, there is a reward for the righteous. We can see God's work. We can see his hand involved in things. We can see him judging righteously in the earth, which gives us context to be able to judge each other. and to hold each other accountable and to encourage one another to stay the path and to stay the course. And so, anyway, I just wanted to kind of share some thoughts with you on that. In Psalm 58, sometimes when we hear about judging and judgment and things like this, we have a tendency to look at this in a negative context. But here the psalmist is saying that he takes comfort in the fact that God judges, and he even asks this kind of semi-rhetorical question in verse 1. And he says, "Do you speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?" Um, and the implication being no, that we don't. We don't judge in righteousness oftentimes, and we don't always speak uprightly, but that God does, and that we're to fall back on that. So anyway, wanted to share that with you guys. All right, God bless.